So, Rennie Gabriel, like, dude, so excited to have you on the show. Before Rennie even get to say, "Hey, thanks for having me," we both like riding two-wheeled vehicles more than four-wheeled vehicles. Both of us have primary transportation modes that are either electric or gas-powered motorcycles or bikes of some sort. We both have recently had or still have RAV4s, like the Toyota RAV4s, because I think we're tree huggers, dude. And and we both love being entrepreneurs, and we both have financial advisory backgrounds, both CFPs. Like, we're like brothers, man. I don't know how this worked, or we're the same human. Dude, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Oh, Chris, this is so fun. Yeah, I just had such a great time when we were talking. I mean, I'm driving a 15-year-old car that's a RAV4, and you're going, wow, I love that. I had one of those.
Like, yeah. You know what's fun is talking. So we're talking about wealth building today, folks. We're just diving straight down this path of, like, let's talk money. Let's talk about not being broke. Let's talk about building wealth. Wherever you are in that continuum, let's talk about this. Now, everybody here at Group Coach Nation, Rennie, as you know, because you're in Group Coach Nation, so glad you're here in our community. Everybody, we're constantly talking about building our own group coaching programs, like high-ticket masterminds, high-ticket coaching programs. But folks, let's be honest. We're doing it because we're good people and we want to help other people. I get that. But let's just dive in a layer deeper. We're trying to build something for ourselves, right? You're trying to make something happen. And that's complicated. It's not unfortunately intuitive for most of us to build financial security the right way. It's not about just hustling and making a few extra bucks. And it's not about clipping coupons and spending a little less. There's a lot more to it. So, Rennie, dude, let's rock and roll in this thing, man.
You got it. And I think one of the most important things to talk about, okay, I started by, I'm driving a 15-year-old car, like, oh, the poor guy's broke. No, I can't tell you how many hundreds of those cars I could pay for cash. The point is, you got to figure, if I can donate 100% of the profits from the work I do supporting other people to handle their money powerfully and become philanthropic, then wait a second. People say, well, wait a second. How can you afford to live if you're donating 100% of the profits from your business? It's because I created a very large personal wealth. But that also came from, at one point, being so broke, I had to collect soda bottles and cans to get the refund money to buy food for my family. Mm-hmm. The point being, I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to struggle. Mm. And that is so far from me at this point in time that because I failed high school math, I figure, hey, if I can do it, anyone can. Yeah. And that's where I'm coming from.
I love that. By the way, hey, Matt, welcome. Good to see several of you folks. Welcome. Ask questions, guys, as we go along. This is real money, real talk. Let's get this done.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, because, when people have questions, that's what really provides the value. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of a funny question from one of the seminars I did years ago. A lady sitting in the audience, and I'm talking about, tracking money, just like the wealthiest people in the world do. And she says, well, Rennie, I give my husband an allowance and he doesn't tell me what he does with the money. How do I track it? I said, you gave him the allowance. You've tracked it. You're done. Who cares what he does with it?
Check it off the list, right? Move on.
Right. So, I mean, the questions are crucial. So anyone who's got questions, I'm here to answer them.
Ask your questions. And let me preface all of this with one thing real quick, as we have so many awesome conversations here at Group Coach Nation with lots of experts. Rennie is unusual in this. He actually gives away, like I'm gonna show you his, like, for instance, if you want to go find out more about Rennie, I never pitch people's websites at the beginning of a conversation, right? It's always the end. It's right here on screen. I'll say it for you audio listeners. wealthonanyincome.com/TEDx. Okay, here's why I'm saying this now. And then, Rennie, I want to dive into the myths that keep you from becoming wealthy.
Yep.
Here's why I'm diving this now. Rennie gives all his profits away for his consulting services and advising people on how to get money in their pocket and get wealth built the right way. He gives it all away. He's done his job. He's built his thing. He's got the wealth going. And Rennie, can you just give us a quick snippet? Because I'm freaking in love with the nonprofit that you give to. Tell us about the nonprofit you give to, and then we'll talk money.
Yeah. Okay. So the charity is Shelter to Soldier. They get 100% of the profits. Well, I mean, we donate to dozens of other charities too, but from this business, sheltertosoldier.org gets 100% of the profits because they rescue dogs from environments where they could be euthanized or just die in, they pick dogs off the street even.
Hmm.
And if they're the right temperament and size, they are trained as service animals for soldiers who've come back with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, or other issues. And the suicide rate among our returning veterans is almost 1 an hour. That's like 22 a day. Not one service person who's gotten their dog has committed suicide.
Wow.
These dogs keep people alive. And, you've heard the expression, or maybe you've seen it, that, when someone's got a bumper sticker about a dog and a rescue, it says, we're not sure who rescued who.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. These dogs are trained. The vet bills are covered. The housing, the vets are trained with the dog. I mean, these are true service animals. These aren't companions that someone pulled out of the shelter.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
So
love it. The dog I have in my house, Blue. Many of you have seen Blue on screen before. He pops in and out of here, but he's a rescue animal, and we got him in a really dark time for me, and that dog's been super meaningful to me and my family for sure. Rescue dogs are they're just so awesome.
Oh yeah, we have 2, and when my stepdaughter comes by, we'll have 4 in the house.
Okay, get the carpet cleaners out. So let's talk.
Yeah,
let's talk the myths that keep you from becoming wealthy. Like, what are these myths?
Well, one of the most damaging is the one that I hear CPAs and other financial gurus talk about, like, you've got to pay off your debts. Like, you pay off your credit cards before you start paying yourself first or building up a savings or investment account. And I'm thinking, I can't figure out anything that's more damaging than that. What it's saying is other people, your creditors, deserve your money more than you do. And that is a recipe for disaster, not wealth or financial success. And the reason I say that is I've done a calculation where if you just have a $6,000 debt and you could pay it off at $300 a month, and you do that 2 years later, if you don't add to it, if it doesn't come back, which it will, you've gotten rid of it. And now you can set that $300 aside into an investment or account. And let's say you choose some intelligent investments, you can get 11% a year. Down the road, I mean, if someone's young, 30 years down the road, start at 30, they're 60, they would have a portfolio of over $800,000.
Wow.
But if they didn't pay off the debt, if they carried it for 30 years, if they put that $300 a month directly into the investment from day one instead of waiting 2 years, they'd have over $1 million.
Wow.
They lost $200,000 of investment earnings by waiting 2 years to pay off a $6,000 debt. $6,000 to give up $200,000, I think, is a bad trade.
That's not a good trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, okay, I'll give you the personal example.
No, that's really good. I'm excited for myth number 2 now, because that was super clear.
Okay. So people think you need a good credit score to create wealth.
Right. Constantly talking about credit scores.
Yeah. Well, at age 50, I'm broke. I'm starting all over. I've had 2 divorces. I had a business failure. I'm only earning $5,000 a month. That's why the title of the book is Wealth on Any Income. I've only got $5,000 a month I'm earning. I set aside $500 a month. It's a 100-year-old thing. I mean, it's 5,000-year-old secret. The book came out, Richest Man in Babylon, 100 years ago. Set aside 10% of your money to keep for the rest of your life. So I'm saving $500 a month. 3 years later, I've saved up $18,000. I'm in Los Angeles. Big whoop. Okay. That's not going to do much. But my wife has a realtor who says, Rennie, let's buy this triplex. You should buy this triplex. Yeah. Thank you, Robert. I have $18,000. I can buy anything real estate in Los Angeles. My wife says, hey, you know what? I'll chip in $18,000. The realtor says, this is such a good deal. I'll chip in the balance of the down payment, 36. The three of us will buy it together. One of my quotes is, wealth creation's a team sport, not a solo sport.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
The three of us bought this property. We cleaned it up. We re-rented it. We sold it like 4 years later for a $500,000 profit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, during that time, this works. I went out and borrowed more money to make down payments with my wife and the realtor. And within 5 years of the time we started, we had 50 units when we started with 3.
Wow.
And that's how I became a multimillionaire. And what I'm getting at is 2 things. If I'd have taken that $18,000 I saved up over 3 years, I got to pay off my credit card debts.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would have improved my credit score.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I put it into an investment that turned into millions of dollars eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So had I paid off the credit cards, I would have had no money to buy that first triplex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over and over again, I'm saying, focusing on paying off debt, having a good credit score, those are not the crucial items.
That's somebody else's metric, not your metric to reaching your goal.
Exactly.
I want to go back to this comment about creating wealth as a team sport. We talk a lot in our community here, Rennie, about just building affiliates. Like if it's an affiliate commission, if it's sharing some sort of profit and helping each other grow, if it's networking and pointing some of your prospects to another expert in our community who can serve them better, like build those relationships. That's the same thing as going in together and buying an apartment complex or a triplex. It's, hey, you see something, I see something, we're better together.
I can give you some business
Works every time.
examples.
It's also more fun. It's so lonely to walk down the path by yourself,
Oh, it's not only lonely, it's ineffective. Look at Apple Computer with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs was a visionary, but Steve Wozniak executed on that vision. Now, most people know who Warren Buffett is. And over again, I say, do you know who Charlie Munger is? Now, you and I know, but most people don't. And he's half of Berkshire Hathaway. He happens to be the execution master for Warren's visions. So that, that's 2 people building one of the world's largest companies, and you got Apple Computer. I mean, you go to Hewlett Packard, you go to, look at Elon Musk. Yeah. He's got SpaceX. He's got, he had PayPal. He's got Tesla Motors. Guess what? He doesn't know how to build cars, and he admits it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to because he's an execution master.
Yeah.
For all of these businesses. So
absolutely.
When you're talking about affiliates, when you're talking about those kind of relationships, those are key to creating growing, thriving businesses.
Yes. And we all worry about giving up a little, like you did. You were in the triplex. You gave up a significant portion of the $500,000 profit the 3 of you made.
I got 25% of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You only got 25% of 500K, but wow, 25% of 500K is a heck of a lot better than sitting on your $18,000 and riding it out for a few years.
That's right. That 18,000 turned into 125 in
amazing
just a
deal.
few years. Yeah.
And it wouldn't have happened alone. Yeah.
Would not have happened.
So share and grow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You got another myth for us, dude? I'm eating this up. I'm going to be wealthy by Tuesday. Oh, today is Tuesday. Yeah. I'm almost there, dude.
Well, I mean, this fits some of the other myths where people say, well, it takes money to make money. Okay. All right, fine. I had $18,000, but I didn't have the whole $72,000 that was needed for the down payment. So it takes other people's money to make money, not just yours. And if you have no money, then you partner with someone who does. People who have no money usually have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So they could trade time. Someone else contributes money. They do things together.
That is really, really good advice, buddy. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you're saying these things. So many people have such amazing opportunities and insights and delivery skills, but just don't have the capital to get started. And or they've already gotten started and they really are set to go through an insanely cool growth phase and they just need some fuel in the tank.
Yeah,
Yeah. Don't be proud, right? We got to just say, yeah, I could use your help. Let's jump in.
exactly. I mean, uh, examples from years ago was someone who had a mortgage business, and she and her husband had it together. They were worth, let's say, a couple $1 million, and they brought in a partner, and they were very resistant to doing that. The partner said, "I can explode this business for you.
Mhm.
Now, would you like to have 100% of your $2 million, or would you like to have 50% of $20 million?"
Yeah, I'll take the 50%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. You know what? And they turned it down.
No. Oh no.
Yes, they did. They wanted to stay small and have it all instead of being big and having more. Point is, it's a choice.
It
And
is a choice.
and people make choices all the time. But something else that I think is really important, because okay, they were making a lot of money, they had a good net worth, and a lot of people think the more money you earn, the more wealth you create. That's another myth.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've worked with people who are earning $500,000, $1 million a year, and literally have nothing to show for it
Mm-hmm.
because they go through all of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're only earning a little bit like I was, or you're earning a whole lot. Neither one necessarily can lead you to wealth unless you're doing the right things.
Yeah. I just, Rennie, please don't say any numbers here because I don't want to publish any numbers personal
Okay.
about you. But Rennie and I've talked offline, and Rennie's a guy who has wealth. And look at his background, folks. If you're listening to this, let me just show you what's going on here. There is, maybe I'm thinking an IKEA or some sort of little visual screen behind him. It was probably 70, $80.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're sharp.
I'm
You're
good,
right.
buddy. Yeah. And then he's got this poster printed off that talks about got his .com on there and a picture of his book and profits donated to charity. That's his studio background, folks. We're talking about maybe 120, $150 all in. Right.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
banner was about 40, and the four-fold thing was about 70.
And
40 and
if you
70.
see,
Wait, hold on. I failed high school math. So give me I think that's 110. Is that?
yeah.
Yeah.
And your Blue
$110
Yeti
all in.
microphone, you got a Blue Yeti microphone hanging there, which trumps
Yep.
it all, and that's worth an extra $150. All right. So here's the deal. He's unconcerned about the fancy studio. He's wealthier than most people in our Group Coach Nation community. All right. And if you see a picture of him out in his vehicle, he's not posing in front of a red Ferrari. He's in a nasty 15-year-old RAV4 Toyota car. I'm sorry, your car's not nasty, but you do manage properties in your car, so we know it gets a little beat up.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though, folks. He is not promoting a lifestyle of big spending wealth. Getting to know Rennie a little bit, you realize this dude's talking about a lifestyle of freedom. There's nothing Rennie has to say no to in life. It's that he chooses to say yes to meaningful things to him and his family and no to things that are meaningful to other people's impression of him. And that is what most of us miss, particularly in this space. We're all so caught up in marketing and we're living for someone else's dreams. And we got to live for our own dreams and our own reality and the things that really make us happy. And Rennie, I applaud you for doing that. You're rare in this world. It's super cool to see it happen.
And Chris, what you said is so accurate, and it reminds me of something I read in a book called The Psychology of Money. And it has to do with the difference between being rich or being wealthy. And people who drive a fancy I helped a friend of mine. I had to finance a $250,000 car that he wanted to buy. I've known him since high school. So I co-signed, and people look at my credit report and say, "Oh, you've got oh, how's this Porsche? I mean, this is a $250,000 car. It's not even mine. I co-signed for a friend of mine from high school. Anyway, rich is what people see, the fancy car, the Rolex watch, the fancy clothes. You have no idea if there's wealth behind it, because wealth is what you don't see.
Oh, that is so true. That is so freaking true. Wealth is what you don't see.
Yeah, and people will look at me in my Hawaiian shirt, and I'm an ordinary looking guy. No one knows how many units I own, or how much wealth we have, or the size of our portfolio, or the tremendous amount our portfolio managers generating from covered call options. I mean,
that's not the thing.
No,
that's not what makes you sleep better at night.
No.
And it's not what builds relationships with you and your kids, grandkids, whatever. It's not what's helping soldiers heal from PTSD. It's not what's saving dogs out of shelters. That's not the stuff. That's not the stuff that anybody is going to say matters in 50 or 100 years.
Exactly. What matters is the contributions that I've made to other people on the planet. It's not about how much I've accumulated. It's not about the one who has the most toys when he dies wins.
Oh my gosh, Group Coach Nation, this is stuff worth embracing. This is the real deal. Whenever you're watching or listening to this in the future, we happen to be recording this on December 7th, 2021 on a Tuesday morning. And, it's the holidays, and we're all thinking about, unfortunately, the distractions of trying to hustle and do the things we got to do over the holiday season, year ends, all that kind of stuff. But we're also thinking about just stepping up a little bit of kindness here and there. And man, it's the kind marks we leave on others that matter, not the points we get in for our political views, or if we're right or wrong about a new variant of a current pandemic or whatever. It's man, great seeing you. Have a great day. Hope your family's well. How can I help you? That's the real deal. Yeah.
I would often talk about in my seminars the value that people get from what they do more than what they bought. And it's like the happiness conversation. In other words, are you happy that you got a new coat? Or are you happy that you had a conversation with someone and you were able to improve their life?
Yeah. So great. Buddy, I don't know, Rennie. I mean, we can drop some more myths about becoming wealthy here, but I think I think at some point we have to just stop and say, let's just focus on what we just talked about, because the 3 myths you just dropped, and then our conversation of just being who you need to be on planet Earth that's enough stuff for us to spend all day thinking about, right? Trying to practice just a little bit of that will change our lives.
Yeah. And, I've got this book I wrote recently called Attitudes of the Wealthy. And I look at that and say, there's about 30 of them in there. I've probably adopted maybe 5 that I practice regularly. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm a multimillionaire because I did a half dozen. If I could do all 30 of those attitudes, I'd probably be a billionaire instead.
Yeah. So true, right? Okay, folks, here's what you need to do. Go to what Rennie's talking about, right? He's got the website set up. And again, everything he does goes to charity, okay? You're good. This is the most fun pitch ever. There's no commission sharing between Rennie and I. We're just hanging out, having fun. Go to Wealth on Any Income. He's just showing you how to create wealth, folks. That's part of why we're doing this stuff at Group Coach Nation. We're building wealth for each other. It's a really cool thing. Go to, so wealthonanyIncome.com/TEDx. Okay. And you are going to find yourself on a website that looks a lot like this right here. All right. Here's the website. Check this out, folks. Again, I'm just having so much fun with this because Rennie's not a flashy guy. He's got a really straightforward map to getting wealth figured out. You can watch his TEDx video there. You can buy a book there, and you can see pictures of adorable dogs and how he's rescuing them and helping. I mean, this is just so well-rounded. Some of our best heroes right there with some of our best hero 4-legged furries. This is great stuff, man. there's just so many smiles at wealthonanyincome.com/TEDx that aren't just about money making. So thank you, sir. Well, I'm gonna leave right there. I love those dogs. Oh my gosh. Dude, thank you very much. So fun hanging out here. Is there anything else, Rennie, you want to say before we wrap this up?
Just what we've spoken about before, that wealth creation is a team sport, not a solo sport. And the folks in your community, when they're working together, they're going to produce so much more than anything they try and do by themselves.
Yeah, dude, you're so right. And a couple of comments here from you folks out there, Group Coach Nation. My true happiness comes from helping others improve their business, their life, and their community. Yeah. Love that. So well said. Let me see who said that in our chat here. That is such a Jessica Edwards. You're so awesome. Love that. And then Jessica just downloaded the map. Awesome. Well done, Jessica. Isn't that a great website? All right. You folks out there, Group Coach Nation, we always say this: do the work, get the results. We're all in this together. We can't do it alone. Take one little nugget from what you learned today with Rennie, just one little nugget, and drop it into your real life and practice it. Do the work, just one step at a time. I think that best nugget might just be reaching out to another colleague or someone in your community and saying, hey, you want to just have a Zoom call and talk about our goals coming up in the next quarter, year, month, whatever? How can we support each other? That right there might be a pretty powerful conversation. So there you go. wealthonanyincome.com/TEDx. And Rennie Gabriel, dude, truly a wonderful conversation. Thank you for investing in us.
You're so welcome, Chris. And I look forward to having you on my podcast.
I can't wait, dude. It's so much fun. Yeah. All right. See you soon. And by the way, when I'm on Rennie's show, we'll drop the link out here, and you guys can follow along with that conversation and see where the conversation goes at that point. All right. Everybody have a great one. Do the work.